All right, it's saying I'm live. Can people see me and hear me? I haven't done this in a while, so I'm a little out of practice with the live feed thing. And they've changed it also, changed it a lot from the last time I've done it. Can y'all hear me? Anybody in there? I guess I'll wait and get a response back to see if anybody can actually see and hear me. Hey, Jared, can you see me all right and hear me all right? All right, good deal, good deal. As you could tell from the title of this, The Calm Before the Storm, we have a Category 2 hurricane heading in this way here in Biloxi. It looks like it might run right over the top of us, or it might go a little to our east, which I don't wish it on nobody, but if that happens, that'll put us on the better side of it. So I'm definitely hoping that we don't get a direct hit, man. Nobody needs that. I promise you. I'll be so glad when 2020 is over with. It's just one thing after another. Who all we got in here? Let's see. We got Jared with Frack Daddy Barbecue, David Dwell Rescue. I'm trying to see y'all. Bill Rare the RN cooking with Steven. Hey Steven, how you doing, buddy? James Morrow, Grant Frost Foster. How's it going, Grant? Hope y'all hunkering down, brother. Y'all just right around the corner from me. Actually, y'all might be closer to the beach than I am. Interstate 10 is right here by me, so if nothing else, I'm hoping we don't get like a storm surge. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it'd come this far up. Got a few people in here already. Good deal. This is a last minute decision to even do this. And basically, what prompted me to do it was this is 2 weeks in a row that I haven't been able to put out a video. And I was going to do a brisket video, uh, not this past weekend, but Labor Day weekend. And I had already thawed out this Snake Rivers Farm brisket, and I had to go ahead and do it. But my son told me Sunday, he said, we can start the video, but how long is it going to take on Monday? Because I've got to work. He does the air conditioner work, and he had like 5 service calls to go do that Monday, even though the rest of us was off. I'm like, oh man, great. I said, don't even worry about it. I said, I'll just cook it for Labor Day. And I hated that because the brisket really turned out good. It's like one of the better ones I've done, and it was my first time doing a brisket on the Masterbuilt 560. I'll show you a picture here real quick if I can pull this up. Let's see if you can see that. I mean, it turned out picture perfect, man. Everything about it, nice bark, really nice smoke ring, but better than anything, it was really good, nice and tender and tasty. So that didn't happen, and then this past weekend, I said, okay, I'm gonna take some of that brisket and make a video with it. So I decided to do a smoked brisket hash. And there again, because of this hurricane coming in, we sold the sailboat. But my son, I mean, we just sold it. So he's helping a guy to get it to Safe Harbor. The guy hadn't even got it in his name yet as far as registration. Insurance is still in my name. So he helped him all day yesterday. So he done that, and I went ahead and made the hash. And let me see if I can pull up a picture of that. So, needless to say, man, this is YouTube, and things happen, just out of the blue like that you're not expecting. But it has caused me not to be able to get a video up. This is one photo of it right here. This is the finished result. Now that stuff is really good. That's smoked brisket hash. I've got some smoked Gouda cheese on top of that, and man, you talk about good. There again, I tell you what, I've got some more of that brisket in the freezer, so I want to recreate that, and that will probably be my next video, provided this storm don't really tear us to pieces and we're without power for any length of time. So I'm hoping not. All right, let me read some of this stuff, y'all. I'm talking too much here. All right, let's see. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. it turned out really good. Both of them did, the hash and the brisket. I was really proud of that brisket. I'm like, man, of all cooks, why couldn't I have this one on video? Now I had a little issues with that 560, the Masterbuilt. And it wasn't so much the cooker as what I found out later. It was more the app. The app on that thing is not worth anything. And what was happening every time I opened the app, sitting in here to take a look at my grate temperatures and meat temperature, it would when I closed it out, it would cut the unit off. I'd go out there and that thing would be off. So I had to turn it back on. It happened like 4 or 5 times before I finally figured out to not open the app. Matter of fact, I disconnected the Wi-Fi to it, just said I'm not using it at all. Then it ran the rest of the time. I mean, this thing took like 16 hours to cook. It was a very long cook, but I was cooking very low and slow, like at 225. My plans was to get some sleep that night, let this thing run. But after it started shutting itself off, I got nervous about it, and I said, well, I can't go to sleep. So I took a little cat nap here and there, like a 1 hour here and 1 hour there. But finally got it done. All right, let's see if there's any kind of questions in here whatsoever. Like I said, guys, I'm out of practice with this live feed. I probably haven't done one in about a year and a half. Oh, I got Loader Man in the house, got Mint in the house, and they are still moderators. Cool. It's been a while, like I said. Let me scroll back up. I don't know if I'll ever get caught up. Let me just start here and read some of this. Marion Ward, your cooking is awesome. I like your show a lot, and I'm looking forward to see new shows. Smoky Ribs is an awesome show. I appreciate it. We've been doing this a while now, a little over 8 years. It's gotten better over the years, and I hope I can continue to do it for at least a couple more years. That's my plans anyway. We got Chuck Riley. He's from Maryland. We got Kevin Smith, Chad Sears, Suburban Barbecue. How's it going, man? I don't plan on being on here long. I mainly just want to get something up, because 2 weeks running, and I like to get at least one video up every week, like clockwork. And I couldn't believe that 2 weeks in a row it fell through like it did. And both of them were really good cooks. But like I said, I can redo that last one. The first, no, not unless I go buy another very expensive brisket, and I'm not into that right now. So that brisket had been in my freezer for like 3 months, and I'm like, man, I have got to get this thing cooked. And I knew it would be a long, drawn out thing, so I needed a whole weekend off from work, my full-time job. And so we had Labor Day weekend off. We were off Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. I said, the brisket. I'm doing the brisket. And so that happened. Oh, well, life happens. What can I say? Who else we got in here? American Trucker, 1976. 3 more years and I'll have truck paid off and start smoking meat more often. Heck yeah, man. That's what I'm talking about. We got Weekend Warrior in here. Hey, Mike, how you doing, brother? But yeah, man, I tell you what, I am so sick of these hurricanes, and we have to face it every year. And we had a little close run in here back at the beginning of the summer with that tropical storm. I can't even remember the name of it now, but we stayed on the boat out on the front in this thing, and ropes were breaking loose. I bruised my ribs trying to help get this boat back around and save it. And I was pretty much over that boat at that point. I was definitely over storms and hurricanes, but so we end up putting it up for sale. Sold the boat. The next boat I own, it'll be something I can load up on a trailer and pull to my house and put beside the house just to go fishing in. No more boats that has to be protected in a storm like this. Never again. It was fun while it lasted, but you have to deal with this every year, and it's just not worth it. Not to me, it's not to me at all. Yeah, Cristobal. That was it. I tell you what, that storm taught me one thing. we didn't think it'd be much to it. 35, 40 mile an hour winds. We get that sometimes stronger with thunderstorms. That storm taught me do not ever underestimate a tropical storm, ever, especially right there on the beachfront. That thing kicked our butt. It's all we could do to get that boat pulled back around when it broke loose. I thought we lost it. I thought that was all she wrote. We was getting ready to go for a ride, hoist the sails, and just go where it took us, is what I figured. But it all worked out. I don't know nothing about sailing. My son does. And that's basically why I got the boat, because I knew he loved it. And he actually became quite the sailor, but he's pretty much over it too at this point. He's kind of starting a new life, got a woman in his life, they're engaged. And so they just changed everything. He went from a pirate to soon to be husband, I guess. But he's still my camera guy. But man, I wish he could, show up for these videos. I hope that don't become something that happens a lot. If so, I'll have to go back to doing it myself, I reckon. I used to do it myself all the time, but then we bought these other cameras over here, the DSLRs, and he's behind them because he really knows how to work them. What I'm using right now for this live feed is one of my Canon Vixias, and that's what I used to shoot with, that camera. And I have another one just like it right here. And they both still work good. They got good video. I'm not going to say it's as good as what the newer ones are, but I could make do with that if I had to, if he gets to where he's just not interested anymore in doing this. But, I don't blame him if he don't. But it's my deal. It's my gig. I do pay him, to help me. So that's been a motivation for him. But I'm sure at some point he's going to say he's over it. It's not his baby, not like it is mine. Appreciate it, Dan. Yeah, I've got all my cookers inside the garage except for two of them. The Santa Maria would not go in my garage because of the height where the wheel is. So it's having to sit outside. But man, that thing weighs like, I forget what that one weighs. I think it's like 500 pounds, something like that. It ain't going nowhere. And beside that, I had the S&S Kamado. It's not going nowhere. It would take a tornado hitting us to do anything to that. And if that happens, then the house is gone too. So it really don't matter at that point. So let's just hope that don't happen. West Coast Cajun Cuisine. What's up, man? Doing good, man. I guess y'all are out of the woods on this storm, or at least it's looking like it. You're over there in Louisiana. Belvin is. And I think this is going to go far enough east from him to where he's not going to have to sweat it. I hope so. Who else we got in here? Yeah, this looks totally different. I'm inside this. It's called the studio. It's part of YouTube. It's got a black background, and the chat is all black with white lettering. It's got a pretty cool looking icons and stuff on it. I haven't used this before. I don't go live very often because I personally think that, and it's not just something I think it's pretty much fact that if you do a lot of live feeds, that it can kind of hurt you in the long run because they can run a lot longer than a typical video does. And very few people are going to rewatch this and watch it from beginning to end. So you end up not getting a lot of watch time on it. And they compare it to your last video where you might have got real good watch time. And then it like messes with the algorithm on YouTube. So I don't do it a whole lot, but I did do it today mainly because, like I said, I haven't posted nothing in 2 weeks. I had to get something up there. And kind of let y'all know that there is a possibility that if this thing gets any worse, they're talking about it could be a minimal category 3. And, I hope not, but we could literally be without power if that was the worst thing that happened. We could be without power for weeks on end. This is not my first rodeo. I've been through Hurricane Camille. I've been through Hurricane Katrina, a lot of other ones in between. And I remember after Hurricane Elena in 1985, it took them like almost 3 weeks to get our power back on. So It's not a fun thing, because it's always just as hot as it can be after one of these storms, and your power's out, AC is not running, and it's pretty miserable. But like I said, that's the best thing could happen. If it did do a direct hit on top of us, I mean, it could get a lot worse, is what I'm saying. When Katrina came through here, the place I was living in, it took on 5 foot of water on the inside. It was a townhome. I had an upstairs and a downstairs, so I was able to get a lot of stuff upstairs as the water was coming in. But it pretty much just burnt everything that I couldn't move. All my furniture, big screen TVs, all that stuff was floating, in the living room. Pretty much lost everything I had other than bedroom suites and stuff like that. So yeah, it's not my first rodeo. I'm no stranger to it. I was displaced actually we moved to Illinois for like 8 months after Katrina until things got kind of somewhat normal around here again. I was able to get a FEMA trailer and move into that. It's a real pain in the butt. I dread it every year. These storms can be so bad, but to be honest with you, I would rather have that than these wildfires and earthquakes. Earthquakes come without much warning at all. Tornado Alley, tornadoes can just be a lot worse than a hurricane in a real small centralized location. But if you get hit by it, it can really be bad. 300-mile-an-hour plus winds. So, Jerome Maxwell, hey man, appreciate that. Thank you very much. Very much appreciated. Loaderman says wrap a cable around everything and tie all outside stuff together. Yeah, I pretty much today, anything that was loose laying around, I put that inside the garage. I closed the garage door and I pulled my truck all the way up to it to where it was that far from touching. So that's good. But in the back, we had these like garbage dumpsters, the plastic ones that you roll out to the street. Got 3 of them. So I lashed all of them together and tied them down real good to stop them from blowing around. And that was about it. Everything else is good and secure. Now, my son Derek, the one that does my camera work for me, when he moved off the boat, he is renting a place 2 blocks off the Biloxi beach. I mean, just right there. And I texted him earlier. I said, I hope you're coming over here or going somewhere other than that. He's like, no, nah, we're staying here. We got upstairs, downstairs. We're going to bring everything. Kind of like what I did in Katrina. But he's closer to the beach than I was in Katrina. And I don't think this storm is going to be that devastating to have to worry about it much, but you never know. They can pick up and gain right there at the end, and you never know about that tidal surge. I'm telling you, Camille and Katrina had like tidal waves, 30 foot crashing in. I sit there and watched houses just blown to smithereens, cars drove into the earth 5 and 6 foot, the fronts of them just from the weight of that water hitting them. But so he's got me a little concerned over there with that. But he's a grown man. I forgot my point I was going to make with that, actually. But anyway, he's not in the best place unless it goes east of us. And then the wind kind of comes out of the north. So he would be the less affected. When Hurricane Frederick come through here, the eye kind of went in over the Mississippi-Alabama line, which put us on the good side of it. And it was a bad storm. I mean, we suffered a lot of damage. The place I was living had the whole roof removed, but it was all a north wind. And as we went towards the beach, man, it wasn't hardly no damage down there because they were at the tail end of it, So it really just all depends on where it goes in at as to what kind of damage you can expect to get. Let me see if anybody's asking me any questions. Yeah, it looks like everybody's just, hey, Booger. I see Boogers in the house. I think everybody's pretty much just talking among themselves. Air fryer Booger. She says, Russ, holy snap and Martha. Yeah. I love that. Yeah, I know you have. Belvin. He said he's right there with me. He's been through quite a few of them. If you live down here on the coast, man, it's just part of it. So I told my brother, he messaged me earlier on Facebook, one of my brothers, and I said, hey, it's all part of living here, but I wouldn't live nowhere else. You know, you just got to, what? It's been 2005 since any kind of hurricanes, big hurricanes even hit us. So it's 2000, it's been 15 years, and this is not a Katrina. I don't think it is anyway. So I think we'll be all right. You know, we will see. Barbecue Crasher. You're the true, real deal. Appreciate it, man. Quality, not quantity. Yep, that's true. I don't know. It just bugs me if I can't get a video out. Appreciate it, no, Bill. Yeah, if I can't get a video out once a week, then it just, I don't know. It's almost like missing a day of work or something. You feel kind of guilty about it. I know my viewers expect it, and I like to keep things rolling. You know, you get in a rhythm, and you really need to hang there with it, because if you do that enough over time, it really affects your channel. People just get to where they're not interested anymore, and that's the last thing I want to happen. Appreciate it, Kevin. Death Squatching. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it, Loader, man. Simplistic Barbecue, Hurricane Booger. Yeah, she gets her share of them too, man. She's over there in Florida on the Florida Panhandle, and they get beaten up all the time over there. You know, I've seen quite a few of those go into that area just in the last 10, 15 years. I think that area went like almost 100 years without a direct hit, and then they just got bombarded one year, one after another. I'm like, good Lord, look at this. It's crazy. Appreciate it, guy. What time is it? 7. I haven't been on that long. Seems longer than that already. Like I said, I'm totally. I'd rather be on somebody else's show and be interviewed to where, you know, they can ask me questions, whatever. I'm more comfortable with that. But I thought I'd get on here for a little bit, just do something anyway. I'm off work for the next 2 days, so hey. Normally I'd be at work. I work second shift. Normally I would be at work. Would have been there for hours now. Yeah, I hear you, Belvin. I believe me, I know, man. We've been working a lot of overtime at work and work almost every Saturday. So Sundays has been my only day to shoot for a while now, you know, for the most part. And if I can't make it happen on a Sunday, then it just ain't gonna happen, you know. But I normally get them done, but just 2 weeks in a row, and it had nothing to do with me. It was definitely my son, and that's the reason, you know, I got to look at these cameras. I said, you know, I'm not gonna let that happen again. If he can't show, I hate to go backwards, you know, like go back to older cameras I used to use, because it's gonna look different. You know, I've advanced from that, but they still look good. But if that's what I have to do, I will definitely do it. And these other cameras, they have auto settings and all, but it doesn't do as good as what he can do behind there, where he's constantly adjusting for light, focus, zoom, all this stuff. You know, he's controlling it. Where on these, I set them to auto and just let them rip on the auto. Appreciate it, Grumpus. Christy Betts, good evening. Yeah, I will, Robert. Robert Barnes, hunker down and be safe. I sure will. We're gonna do our best. Mark Summers, be safe for us. We're gonna try, man. Hopefully, no unexpected things happens with this. And it seems like every time I watch the Weather Channel all day long, not the Weather Channel, but our local weather, it's been ticking east a little bit more each time. So the more east it ticks over, the better off we'll be. If that's what happens, that cone has still got us almost dead center, but as long as we don't get that direct hit, then I'm not too concerned about it. But you never know. And the one thing you got to worry about with these things, it's not so much also the extreme winds around the center of the eye, but it's the tornadoes that spin off from it. They can do a lot of damage. They can wreak havoc just on their own. Your average hurricane can spin off hundreds of tornadoes within it, and you can drive around after one of these storms and you can see where these different tornadoes had twisted the top side of trees or twisted steel beams. That's the thing that really makes you nervous, because you don't never know. When Hurricane Lena was coming, I had forgotten about tornadoes, and man, it was just blowing a gale outside, 125-mile-an-hour winds, but we were doing good in a brick calm, everybody good and safe. Then we heard like this freight train sound, like, uh-oh. I said, that's a tornado and it's close. So we grabbed a mattress off the bed. We all got in the hallway and just got up under that mattress. And the next morning walked outside, and there was a whole tree line right outside the back where I used to live. Every one of them treetops was twisted off from that tornado. I said, man, that was close. That was real close. So yeah, that's one of the things you got to keep in mind. Have you a plan A and a plan B in case something like that goes down. Yeah, man, it really is. It's scary stuff. But I can remember Hurricane Camille. I was, let's see, 1969. I was born in 58. I was 11 years old, and I was going on 11. My birthday is in December. And we went to Columbia, Mississippi, where my grandmother lived. And that storm left Gulfport, Bay St. Louis area, and it went straight up and tore that little town to pieces. And it's 100 miles inland. It uprooted old oak trees this big around. I mean, all you seen was the roots sticking up 30 foot in the air where it knocked them trees over. Power lines down as far as the eye could see. I'll never forget that one. That was a really bad storm. The winds were in excess of 200 mile an hour. Nobody had equipment that could even read the wind speeds. That storm, it was washing up graves. They didn't know the dead that recently died from the ones that had already been in there a while. I mean, it took them a while to sort it out. And I didn't know if I ever believed them stories, about it washing up graves, but I can honestly say that when Hurricane Katrina came in, there was a graveyard right beside the apartments I lived in. And when we looked out the window after all that water resided, like I said, I got almost 5 foot of water in my apartment. There was a coffin laying in the road. It had floated over the fence and laid down right in the road. And the next day we got out there and looked. It was from like the 1800s. It was in a tomb, one of the concrete tombs with a concrete lid. And all the force, I guess, from the air in that coffin pushed that concrete out, and it popped up out of that water and floated across. And it wasn't the only one. There was more of them. It's pretty morbid for sure. But yeah. Let's see, Robert Bradford, not me, just saying you sent to, I don't know what that is. Christy Betts, I'm old enough to remember the news about Camille and coffins. Oh, yeah. I was a kid then. I didn't know if it was true or not, but I got to witness it myself in 2005 with Katrina. So, oh, yeah, it's real. That will definitely happen, and it does happen. Eerie. And the bad part is that coffin sat there for 2 weeks before somebody could come and get it. It was, the whole place was just in disarray. They had martial law around here. It was crazy, man. People looting. Of course, the world's kind of gotten that crazy now without a hurricane, but that's a different story. Appreciate it, Richard. Any plan? Yeah, I do have some plans. As a matter of fact, going into the cooler months, as a matter of fact, I'm getting ready to start real soon. I love doing series, and I've done some in the past, like the Copycat series where I'd go and eat somewhere and then come home and try to recreate it. And I've done other series, but I want to mainly, I guess, because I used to really be an avid outdoorsman with hunting, and I still love to fish. I haven't hunted in a long time, but one of my things I enjoy doing, and I don't do it on my channel very much, but it's sausage making. So I want to do more sausage making. I want to do a sausage making series, and then more into the winter months, fall right in behind that with some beef jerky and things like that. And I've just hooked up with a company that is going to help me with that. And the biggest thing with sausage is you got to have a real controlled heat. You want to smoke that really just slightly over the temperature where you want to finish off at. And none of my smokers will do that. Maybe the electric ones will, like the Masterbuilt. I think it'd go down to 160, but I don't want something. I want something made for it, is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, there's going to be a sausage series coming up, and behind that, some beef jerky. Going to do 2 or 3 of them. I'm going to introduce you to a whole line of some really cool seasonings. And this company reached out to me. I had never heard of them, but to find out they're huge. They're not just some little small outfit, mom pop. They're actually pretty big. Even though I've never heard of them, they're out of Wisconsin, and they've got a lot of different sausage kits. And I just get into that. So I don't want to tell you too much about it, but I am going to be doing that coming up soon. And I'll be doing recipes in between. What I thought about doing is like make a sausage, let's say a Southern style or a Cajun style to start with, and then turn that into a recipe. Make the sausage, then do some sort of recipe with it, other than just a sausage, because not everybody's going to be into sausage making. It's more of a hobby type thing. Oh, that's cool. A Justin Wilson recipe series in about a month. I know the guy. Matter of fact, he brought his sailboat up to the Biloxi River yesterday. He owns anything Justin Wilson now. He owns all the old shows. He sells the seasonings, the sauces. He is the owner of all the rights to Justin Wilson. I don't know how he come about, being able to buy that, but buddy, he stepped into a gold mine. That name carries a lot of weight. And I grew up watching Justin Wilson shows on PBS, and I'm sure a lot of you did. You should do a live video with Malcolm Reed. Yeah, that would be cool, man. I don't see it ever happening. I mean, he lives in my state, but he's on the other end. But shoot, Malcolm don't need me, man. He's rocking. He's rocking and rolling. He's really up there. He definitely don't need me. But it would be cool. I got to meet Malcolm at the first part of the year at the Shed SCA Steak Cook-Off that we had here at the Shed. And Malcolm was there with his wife, and got to meet Mark Williams with Swine Life. He was there. Got to meet a lot of folks. Matter of fact, Malcolm's in it. I did the video on that where we did the ribs, and Chad Whittington, he turned in the steak, and they did let's see, what was the Bloody Mary? Yeah, Bloody Mary. I was going to say margarita. They did a Bloody Mary. They entered the steak, and we did the ribs. Me and Brian Ducharme worked on the ribs, and we entered those. We placed in the top 25% out of 200 people, and it was the first time I've ever been to a competition ever. Probably the last time, but to place in the top 25%, I felt pretty good. But yeah, that would be cool. I'm reading y'all. Pay me no attention here. I'm just trying to see. What about your sailboat? Oh, we sold it. Just sold it, and kind of somewhat responsible for it. But my son went yesterday to help the guy that bought it. They got it also up in the Biloxi River, and it's got like spider web ropes tied to all these cypress trees and everything. It's just gonna sit there and ride it out, hopefully. And it's fully paid off on my end now, so I'm glad to be rid of it. I mean, I loved hanging out down there on weekends. It was a lot of fun and everything, but man, this time of year it's stressful. Really glad to have that out of my hair. Well, look, I appreciate everybody coming in here and hanging out for a few minutes. Not going to keep you long. Like I said, no real rhyme or reason about this. It's just I just wanted to come on here and explain why I haven't done any content the last few weeks, and we'll get some more videos out. This is a rare thing for me to even do this, but I appreciate y'all dropping in here and chatting for a little bit. I really do appreciate it. Now, I don't even know how to end it. Oh, I do. It says end stream right there. Like I said, this is a brand new thing that YouTube has changed. So shows I've been going about 35 minutes. So I think I'm gonna end it here. And y'all wish me luck, and hopefully if everything works out good, I'll have a video shot this weekend and have it uploaded next week. So y'all take care. I'm gonna try to do the same. Thank all of y'all for dropping in here, and I'll see you when I see you.